Today we're doing a transmission service on a 80 series Landcruiser 11th month 93. Yeah, we're just going to suck the oil out with the vacuum pump through the filler tube. Let's poke that in. While that's sucking the oil out, we're going to check this. You've got the accelerator cable up here, up the top, and the bottom cable there goes to the transmission. We just checked that it has the cable hasn't been frayed or it hasn't got any muck in there, and it's just moving freely, as you can see. By adjusting that, can change the shift pattern a little bit and either increase or decrease the pressure in the transmission. If you don't have a vacuum pump, there is a drain plug on these, which is this plug here, and then we'll take this little lock protection plate off the transmission pan and give it a bit of a clean, a scrub around the outside of the pan, just so no rubbish gets back in the pan when we're putting the transmission pan back on. We'll just have a quick look around, make sure there's no oil leaks or anything like that coming from the transmission or the transfer case. It all seems to be okay. There you go. Now I'll just give a bit of a scrub with the wire brush around the handrail there. And where the filler tube comes out, there's two pipes there on the filler tube. One's attached to the pan, or one half, and the other half is stays on the motor. There'll be a little O-ring in here, so we just sort of clean around there. We'll give it a blowout with the air as well. It's a bit hard to get the wire brush in there, so you can use a screwdriver just to scrape all that loose stuff off, and then we'll hit it with the air just to get any other loose stuff off and make it nice and clean. Okay, we've taken off all the 10mm sump bolts, and you can see we've left a bolt either side of the pan just to hold it so it doesn't drop down. So now we'll just support this and take the pan off. Got the filter here, 4 bolts on the filter, and you've got the solenoids, shift solenoids at the back there. The pan, you can see there's 4 little magnets that collect any fine metal that's floating around in there, and the drain plug also has a little magnet on it. We didn't take that off, but we'll clean all this. And on this particular sump, it looks like someone never had the proper gasket, so they've put Celastic all around the pan. You can do that, but ideally it's better to have a gasket. Gasket comes in the kit with the filter anyway. And we'll just clean around the pan rail. There's a bit of silastic, a bit of dirt there, so we'll just taking care not to scratch into the pan rail, because it's not a good idea. And just to clean all that muck off, so when we're putting the clean pan back on, none of that will fall into the transmission, circulate around. These filters, they're the stainless steel type. You can flush them out. It is a little bit difficult because they've got this shroud cover on there to clean them out properly. This owner has only bought the vehicle, so we're not sure if that's been flushed out a bit before. But what happens is a pickup hole up here where the pump sucks it through. After a while, through wear and tear, the stainless steel mesh in these will develop a split just so the sucking action through the filter. So it is important to have a really good look inside the shroud, because you won't be able to see all the filter mesh in there. So just make sure there's no splits, and also flush it out properly. At the back of the pan rail here, what we do, a little bit hard to get to with the scraper, so we just put a rag on the end of a screwdriver and just make sure it's nice and clean. When you put the pan back on, you don't knock any rubbish inside the pan. We also check these solenoid connectors here, make sure everything's okay. Make sure that the wiring's not hanging down too much or has been rubbing on the pan. And that's basically it. There's 4 magnets there. We'll just give them a bit of a clean up with an old newspaper, and then hit them with the solvent, blow them out, make them nice and clean, and clean the pan. There we go, clean magnets. Loosened taken off the back 2 bolts off the filter, and now we'll just loosen the front 2, and you'll see the oil come out the back there. There we go. Now you got to be careful if the oil's hot. It can burn you. This one's not too bad, so there we go. We'll just take that filter off, put a new filter on, clean the pan up, and we can put it back together. Just put the new filter back on. When you're doing jobs like this, just make sure you double check everything, otherwise, because you might have a few things going on, and you might forget to tighten up things or put clips back on, so it's always important to double check your work. I don't know if you can see inside there, but you'll see you can't really see. That's a pickup where the filter or the pump sucks the oil up through the filter. Yeah, you can see a little bit of muck in there, but it's very difficult to clean out. So it's a good idea when you buy the kits, they come with a filter and gasket anyway, so replace them when you can. The clean. Pressure washer cleans it off nicely. Just blow all that water off, clean that silastic off, and put it back on. Clean pan, clean magnets, and a new gasket. Before you put the pan on, it's important to check this O-ring on the filler tube. Because it's a 4-wheel drive, sometimes they drive through deep water. If that seal's not sealing properly, or that little O-ring, you can get water in the transmission. So it's a good idea to replace it. And there we go, we've put the new O-ring on. That's a 90 section O-ring we put on there. The filler tube, when you push it on, it goes on nicely, so Just don't forget to put a bit of petroleum jelly or Vaseline or a bit of oil on there, just so it slides up a little bit easier when you're putting the pan on. Before you tighten the pan completely, it's a good idea to put all the bolts in first, just loose. That way you won't misalign the gasket. These back bolts are a little bit hard to get to. You can use a swivel on your little knuckle on the end of your speed brace, or otherwise, if you don't have one of those, you're going to have to either loosen the cross member and just twist it down a little bit. It just, that little ribbing there just stops you from getting straight access to it, but you can do it without removing the cross member. There we go. We'll just check them by hand, and now comes the fun part, filling the oil. Filling the oil in these is a little bit tricky because they've got a very thin filler tube. We use a hose like this and our oil pump. If you're doing it with a funnel, it will take a very, very long time. It's also important to not underfill it or overfill it if you can. If you overfill it, you'll have to just take a little bit out via the drain plug. We're lucky because we've got a vacuum pump. We can just suck a little bit out, measure the hose on the dipstick and just take it out. But anyway, we'll go ahead and fill it up with oil, take it for a road test and check the oil at operating temperature with the vehicle running. We're using the Penrite multi-vehicle oil here, just pumping it in. I think they take about 4.5 litres. So on our oil pump, that's about 9 pumps, half a litre a pump. Just start it up, go through all the gears. Check the oil level while it's running. We've just taken it for a test run and checked the oil. We've had to put in a little bit more, another litre of oil approximately, which brought it up to about between 5.5 and 6 litres. Anyway, that's how we do a service on a 80 series, 11th month 93, 4.5 litre petrol Landcruiser. The auto's an A442F, they're called. And thank you for watching.